Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you a cute little ribbon bow tutorial. So to make this bow you will need your choice of ribbon. I've got some fabric clips here which I'm going to use to hold my bow together. I've got my tape measure to measure my ribbon, a needle threaded with some strong thread, my hot glue gun is already heating up, and I've also got a couple of different rhinestone trims. This one is actually a hot fix. You can iron this on, or I use my hair straighteners to be honest to put it onto my ribbon, or this one is a self-adhesive which I do add a little bit of glue to, but I will show you these when we get to it. And to cut my ribbon I use Fiskars fabric scissors. Everything that I use in this tutorial I will link them in the description below. To get to the description just press on the title of the video and then you can check out all of these products. So I've already cut all of my ribbon. You will need 5 pieces for each half of the bow, or 10 pieces altogether, and these are all the same width and length. I have chosen a couple of pieces in a patterned ribbon. You can do this all in the same ribbon, it does look really nice all in plain, but I've just chosen these because I thought they went well together and just to add a little bit of something different. So all 10 pieces of ribbon are 1 inch wide or 2.5 centimeters wide, and they are all cut to 8 centimeters in length or just over 3 inches in length. First thing you will need to do is heat seal the ends of your ribbon just to prevent any fraying. So just taking a lighter, run it along the ends of your ribbon, and you will need to do that on all 10 pieces. So I've made up the first half already just to save some time. I'm going to show you how to do it now on the other half of the bow. So I've used 5 pieces for this half and 5 remaining pieces are for the other half of the bow. You would do the exact same steps on both halves, which is why I've already done one already, just to save time for this video, so I don't want to go through everything twice. So first of all, you want to take your pattern piece if you're using patterned. If not, just take one of your plain pieces of ribbon, and you want to hold it so that the pattern, if you're using it, is facing downwards. I'm going to take the top piece and I'm going to fold this over toward the right, so it's like a right angle. And then I'm going to bring this down, so folding it in half, and then I'm going to meet these raw edges up at the bottom. So I'm just taking this down to line it up, and then you can just use your fingers just to slide the top piece to line it up neatly. And then taking a fabric clip, I'm going to pop this on the bottom to hold those in place. If you haven't got fabric clips, you can use your toothed hair clips or whatever hair clips you're using, but these fabric clips are very handy to have. And now I'm going to flip this over because obviously we haven't got the pattern showing and you've got this pocket, so this is going to be the underside of the bow. So I'm going to flip this towards the other side, so this is going to be the front of the bow as in this half, and I'm just making sure again that this point at the top is nice and even. So this is the look we're going for. Next we're going to take one of our plain pieces and we're going to line this up underneath this piece, which is going to be the center as on this one. So taking this piece, lining it up at the bottom central to this piece. You can check on the underside if you need to, and then once you've got it in place lined up along the bottom and central, I'm just going to remove this clip to hold that in place. And now we're going to do the same fold as we did at the start of this one. So taking the top of this piece, folding it over toward the right so you've got this right angle, and then folding it down in half, lining up these raw edges. And then once you're happy that it is in place, again I'm keeping these pinched together with my fingers whilst I remove this clip to clip those into place. So again, making sure that this is halfway, and then you can just use your fingers to slide this piece here, and this time you've got the fold showing toward the front, and that is what you want because it just gives it a little bit of a different look. Taking another piece now, we're going to do the same again, this time lining it up with this plain piece here, So taking this plain piece and lining it up halfway in the middle of this piece now, and I'm just going to grab another clip, making sure all of these raw edges at the bottom are in line. Clip that on there just to hold those in place, and then doing that fold again, so folding it out toward the right and then down in half to meet the raw edges at the bottom. And then keeping it pinched together whilst I remove that clip again to hold those in place, and then just using my thumb and finger to slide that top bit up so that they're nice and straight and even. And now we're going to do the same on this side with the other two pieces, and we need to fold these out the opposite way. So taking another piece, this time laying it on the left side of this central piece. They will be touching at the back like that. Taking another fabric clip just to hold that in place. And this time we're going to fold this top piece out toward the left and then bring it down again to meet up the raw edges along the bottom. They should be touching in the middle as well at the front and the back, and then again keeping it pinched together with my fingers whilst I remove this clip to hold those in place. And now taking our last piece, laying it behind on the right side, central to this piece now. Again, removing this clip just to hold that in place, and then folding this piece out toward the left, and then folding it down in half, meeting all of those raw edges up at the bottom. And then once you've got them lined up at the bottom, taking the last clip and clipping those all in place. And at this point you can just have a little fiddle to make sure that they're all nice and even and straight, all lined up along the bottom, and they should all be lined up along the top also. So we've got now two halves exactly the same, and now we're ready to sew in our pinch. So to save time, I've already sewn one half of my bow, and as you can see we've got this gorgeous shape forming already. We're going to do the same stitches on the second half, so I'm going to show you how to sew in that pinch. I've got my needle here threaded with strong thread and a knot in the end, and we're going to do 8 stitches across the bottom raw edge, 3 in this first piece, and then 1 in this piece, 1 in this piece, and then 3 in the last piece. Going in through the top in this first right hand corner for my first stitch. I sew from right to left because I am right-handed, so whichever end you prefer to work on, it's up to you. So our first stitch in that very first corner has gone in through the top. Our second stitch is going to come up, I'll just move that clip so you can see better. It's going to come up through the middle. I'm just making sure they're in line. So we're going to come up through the bottom, and we want to catch all of these layers from the next piece. So there's 4 layers there all together. And that's our second stitch, so it's roughly in the middle of this first piece. And then our third stitch going in through the top in this corner. And then our next stitch, I'm just going to keep these all pinched together with my thumb and fingers so I can remove this clip so you can see. So we're coming out through the bottom, so we've got to go back in from underneath, and we're going to catch this corner here. Making sure you catch all of those layers. Coming up through that corner there. And then we're going to go in right next to this one. So right next to that one through the top in the next corner. And that is our 5th stitch. And then I'm I'm going to remove this clip and this one, keeping them all pinched together with my fingers carefully. And this time we're going to come back up through the bottom of the next lot of corners. That's our 6th stitch, and then our 7th one again, roughly in the middle of this piece, catching all 4 layers. So making sure I catch all 4 of those layers down through to the bottom, and then our 8th stitch coming up through the last 2 corners. So this is what your stitches should look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. And that is the underside. And next we're ready to pull in our pinch. So just pulling on that thread, and then the ribbon will gather at the bottom like that. And then once you've got that nice and tight and you're happy with that, just go through the last edge once, and then on the second go in, don't pull the ribbon, the thread completely tight. You want to go through this loose loop a couple of times, and that will form a knot to hold that all in place. And then you can trim off the excess thread. I'm just going to use my lighter just to heat seal any frays that I've missed. And then you can fan out your ribbon. Make sure it's sitting all nicely. And that is the other half now sewn. And now we're ready to join these 2 halves together. So taking my hot glue gun, I'm going to place some hot glue now in the middle of one half, and then bring those 2 halves together. Like that. And now I'm going to add a clip. I do like to line my clips. So taking this 45mm double prong clip and a piece of matching ribbon 1 centimetre wide by 11 centimetres. This is enough to wrap a 45mm clip. This is optional. A lot of people don't always line their clips, but this is just something that I like to do. I just think it gives a nice finish and it helps the clip to stick to the bow really well. I'm not going to bother gluing all the way down this ribbon because it's an open double prong clip, so I just need to place the glue on that top piece, and then when I fold it over it will stick down both sides. And then I'm going to stick this on the underside of my bow, so just placing hot glue on the front part of the clip and across the underside of my hair bow. And then I've got another piece, again 1 centimetre wide. This is 11 centimetres in length in the matching ribbon. You won't need all 11 centimetres, but that is just a piece I already had cut. And I'm going to add some gold and silver rhinestones to this centre because I think it goes well with the yellow. Now these are self-adhesive rhinestones, so I'm going to trim a bit off, and I'm going to do it 3 rows wide, and I'm going to do it about 8 rows of diamonds in length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so to there. And then you peel off this backing and it reveals a self-adhesive sticky back, and it is fairly sticky, but I don't trust this on here completely. So what I do is I stick it on, if I can get it straight, and then taking this Gorilla Super Glue gel, I place a little bit at each end. So as you can see, that is quite hard to peel off, but you can if you want to. So I just add some of this super glue gel just to each end, and that just gives it some extra staying power. So this is what we've got now. And now we're ready to wrap this around the centre. So starting underneath the rhinestone trim, I'm going to place some hot glue. Not too much, just a little dot, just so I can get this in line over the middle of my bow. And then I'm just going to separate these pieces and bring that round. And the other two pieces and bring that round. And then I'm going to trim off the excess of this ribbon. So I'm just going to trim off, leaving enough to wrap around the clip at the bottom. So I'm just going to heat seal these raw edges and then hot glue these pieces down underneath the hair clip. And there you have that gorgeous finished hair bow. Isn't that just so pretty? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. I'll be back again soon. Bye.